but what I was getting to is so that's what I've picked up on Robin about how particular he is, and that's how you become the specimen of a player that he is, and being able to play with like Miles and stuff. So when you see things in that way, like I'm curious, how hard is it? It has to be hard to like, and not in a bad way, but just challenging to work with somebody like that
Mm,
because you're constantly, it seems like endlessly dialing in. Like
mm,
there's a constant refining. There's no amount of, at least in those clips, I gather there's no amount of settling. Like if it takes 2 days to cut this solo, it's taken 2 days. Like whatever. Like
mhm.
which obviously, you and I would appreciate his first or second take. He will play 40 takes
Mhm.
and like until he knows it's right. And I'm interested to like because I come from a very different way of working where I have to settle a lot and I have to like most musicians, we have to settle a lot. We have to get
Yeah.
what we can get done in a very small, finite amount of time. We have to be efficient. We have to get
Mhm.
tones that maybe we're not in love with.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of recordings that I will never listen to again because
Fair.
like
Yeah.
I didn't get that time, and
Mhm.
maybe it's not a time thing. Maybe I suck, but maybe it is a time thing. Um, and so I'm just curious, yeah, what your experience was working with somebody that particular.
Yeah. So, so for the miking thing, do I should I just like hold it up or should I send it in a chat
Just
later?
hold it up and then text it to us
Okay.
later. We'll post it.
Okay. So this is during the Bill Evans session. There are four mics and a room mic on his. That's his Dumble cab.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you what all of them are. One looks like just a 121 and a 57, and then two like farther mics, and then there was actually a room mic. This is in Southern Ground, and then there was like a room mic hanging like really far away. And
Gotcha.
even then, it was still hard to capture the what the Dumble was doing.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the hardest amps to mic because there's
Mhm.
something so alive about it. Like that photo's from when he was doing solos. So we
Yeah.
went in the morning before everyone else got there. We planned like, all right, this is the day for Robin to take any solos or to like overdub some parts that he didn't love before. So that's why we were able to do that because before, when everyone else was there, Keith, the drummer, Keith Carlock was drumming, and he was in the main room, like, and everything was ambient for him. And then Robin's Dumble was like in a closet, and it didn't like
Yeah.
breathe.
Too dead. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially for 100 watt, like a loud
Yeah.
100 watts, not like a
Yeah.
soft, pleasant
Dude, it was
100 watt.
so loud when we saw him. It was on like literally 4.5, and I was in like the fourth row. It was
Mm-hmm.
so fucking loud. I can't
Yeah,
even explain it to anybody. Like, and
yeah.
it didn't sound like it was like even close to its
Mm-hmm.
max of anything. It
No,
was
dude,
so loud.
those amps are insanely loud and articulate. But yeah, it doesn't breathe. But the thing that was wild about watching him do solos, I was on cloud nine because Robin is out. Like I didn't know when I saw him at Berkeley, I was like, I didn't know you could be this musical. And I know that's like a crappy thing to say, but
No,
I've
that's
never
right.
seen. Yeah, I've never seen people like I bought tickets 3 times to see BB King live, and then he canceled every show in State College that he was going to do, and I was so bummed. So like a lot of these guys that like historically have been like the nuanced guys, I haven't gotten to see as much live,
Mhm.
and then I saw Robin for the first time live, and I was like blown away. It was like
Yeah,
I didn't know you could be that
it
nuanced and
was
that
so
My
good.
that
my
open.
my thing with Robin was like when I first heard him, my mind was blown by the fact that you can do that to a very simple form of music. It
Mm,
wasn't actually his more complicated stuff, like
mm,
which is obviously mind blowing in its own right. But it's like
mm.
the way this dude imagines a simple
All
form of
bar.
music,
Yeah, like
like
Yeah.
a
a yeah,
fucking
exactly like a blues or just a simple like 9 chord funk kind of thing.
Hmm.
What he does to those, that's because you're so music is such a traditional and cyclical thing of like we kind of have the way we do things,
Hmm.
and when people depart from it,
yeah.
it's not always accepted, and then it usually kind of
No.
comes back around. The traditionalists,
Yeah.
especially of that kind of music, usually kind of like run the show. But then Robin's one of those guys that like is so undeniably creative and
Yeah.
musical and brilliant. And so when I like would hear him play blues, I was always just like, I didn't know you were allowed. I didn't
To
know
Hmm.
do
this
this.
that existed. I
Yeah.
didn't know you were
Hmm.
allowed to do this. I kind of
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
way
the
I was doing
blues
it was how you're
police were gonna
supposed to.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he blows me away with that. And
Yeah.
Go
Very few people though have successfully done what he's done.
It's
That's what I
Anyone
mean.
else,
Usually they get
anyone else who
rejected.
tries to do it, and the problem is with like other people now. Like
Mhm.
I love his playing and stuff, but I'm gonna
Say
say
his name. Say
Matt
his name.
Schofield. Matt Schofield. The issue with that is that Robben Ford is not a BB King or an Albert King. We've accepted that people are going to just sound like those people or a Jimmy
They're
Page or
they're
whatever.
fundamentalist blues. Like that's
Yes,
why
Mhm.
it's acceptable. Like
but
they're
yes, but also like we've had the but like playing like Hendrix is also accepted, which is not the most fundamental. It's pretty. Some of it's pretty weird. It's just compared to those guys. It's just pretty quirky.
fundamental at all. But yeah,
No,
I
it's
agree
not.
with
No,
that.
it's not. I'm saying like it's fundamental
I
to us
agree
as
with
guitar
you.
players. Like we
It
feel
is.
like it's the thing.
Mhm.
When you try to copy someone that's that new, I know he's not new, but like he's not really seen as those guys yet, but he will be. It's never
Yeah.
gonna work. Matt
Mhm.
Schofield can do it as it could sound exactly like Robin, but we're never gonna see it the same ever.
I don't think he sounds like Robin at all.
No, but my point is,
Yeah.
he if he wanted to,
Right. I
he
see what
in
you're
his
saying.
head like he's in that vein of like let's actually play over these blues
It's like
changes. Let's
smart
Right,
guy blues.
actually
It's expensive blues. That's what I
yeah,
call
yeah,
it.
right. And
Yeah.
but the thing is like there's usually it's not three-dimensional. Robin's
Yeah.
three-dimensional.
It's not the thing with Schofield. I mean,
Matt
first off, I
Schofield,
gotta
not
say,
John.
not John.
Yeah.
Matt Schofield is he's a really awesome player. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
he's
But
a
I think
nice dude too.
I think that what I miss two things that like I don't want to say I have a problem with, but two things that just like don't vibe with me with his music is one, his songs suck. Sorry, Matt, they just do. And I'll just say like most blues guys songs suck. That's
Yep.
just the way it is.
Interesting.
Most of it is a
They do.
race to the solo.
Yeah.
It's just a reason for you to play guitar. That's most modern blues. That's a hot take, but that's a hot take.
No,
but I'm
I
gonna live
agree.
with it.
I
And
agree.
then number two is that um, I just feel like Matt, he has his sound, but it's very copy and paste from one song to the next. So like
Interesting.
every time I hear Robin play, it's usually something I've never heard him play before. Every time it's a brand new experience because I think Robin has this acute ability to live in the moment more than most guitar players do.
Absolutely.
Very much including myself. I repeat
same.
licks all the time, and
Yeah,
there's some licks I'll do in every single solo just because I do them.
Dan
Robin
and I
is
used
way
to
more in the moment than most players.
Dan and I we used to like give each other shit about the licks we would play over and over. 'Cause
Oh,
we were
yeah.
an ensemble. We were an ensemble together, so we'd go to rehearsal, and he would do this one. But before he really understood about gear, you got to his old gear he used to use in college is
It's
sad
nothing.
as fuck.
It's nothing like what it is
He
now.
gave me
for
the
sure.
red fuzz face because he didn't like how it sounds, Sean. That's what he gave me.
Okay.
That's
I
bananas.
still don't regret that. I have a silicone one now, and I like
Yeah.
that one. I still would pick that one over.
We'll
the
get
red
to
one,
your
I think.
gear in a sec, but
This
Dan,
podcast is sponsored by Riveter Electric. Buy your fuzz pedals and wire by yours truly.
At Riveter Electric
Anyway.
on Instagram.
That's
by the
awesome.
way.
So we can circle back to what your question was actually now, because that actually was perfect. So
Sorry,
the way-
I forgot there was a question in there.
No, that's okay. No, it was
One
your
point there was.
question.
Yeah.
So you were saying about how it is to work with like how someone's so particular, and I started talking about the time he took solos. So when he was taking solos, it was like, how do I put this? It was amazing watching him play because it was like every time he took the solo, it was never the same. But if he liked where he was going with something, and then he kind of was like going somewhere he didn't like, it was still amazing. If the thing he played was on the record, no one would ever be like, you didn't do the thing. It was like, like amazing, and it just kept going. And then he'd start a phrase that was so cool, and then he'd be like, he would just go,
no.
And we'd stop, and then he'd be like, take me back like 2 bars before that. And then he would listen to what he'd play and then go into where he wanted to go. But what he was playing was amazing. It didn't like I wish
that's crazy though.
Sorry, but you know what he doesn't have is like when you listen to Joe Bonamassa and we're all just kind of hanging out waiting for the Eric Johnson run. It's like, all right, it's coming. I hear the drums starting to get louder. Like it's like clockwork. Like every time you start to hear the drums pick up during a solo, like he'll just like blow through that run and like that's what we were waiting for. It's literally like sports. It feels like sports. I'm watching my guy like he like Bonamassa is on the point just with his stick up and then puck gets passed. You know, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Robben doesn't have that. We're
Mhm.
like, you have to this reminds me of what I said last podcast about my listening recommendation, which CBS was that Blake Mills record. Robin's the same way of like, I feel like he's a deeper listen. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel
No,
like
I don't think it's nowhere near as close. That album specifically, Blake Mills.
No, I'm not saying it's anywhere like that.
No,
but I'm saying it's not.
It's not a hoodly record. It's you're
not
listening.
a hoodly record.
Yeah, that's a Rick term, by the way. He calls people hoodly. Like that's his like they shred too much term.
Yeah,
I use that a lot now. Yeah.
It's a good one.
No, but that's
Also,
exactly what I meant. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, yeah, I agree.
yeah, it's.
So what were you saying more about Robben though? It was like unique every time, and
totally.
even when it was awesome and peaking, he was still just like, that's not it.
He's like, it wasn't at that time. It wasn't supposed to happen, or no, this solo isn't supposed to go there. And he just like in the moment kind of went there for whatever reason, and it could have worked. It easily every take would have worked. It was
like
wild.
He's like his own personal producer. Almost.
I was gonna say the thing that he has that most people don't is the fact that he was like. He's so in tune to where he knows he's going to go ahead of time that when he fucks up, he's like, let's not waste everyone's time. Let's go back. That's not what I meant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
pro.
Sometimes we'll cut solos and go like, oh, that was cool. Like we didn't expect us to be able to do that. He's like, hold on, that's not what I meant to say. That's
because he's actually cognizant of it. He's actually thinking about it, which so many people tell you to not think when you're playing. It's like. But I remember talking to Chris Duarte about this. He's like, I'm always trying to think like not 30 seconds ahead, but at least 2 or 3 seconds ahead. Like I want to be in a place where like
he's nice.
I'm like semi in the moment. Yeah, Chris is a super nice
guy.
Chris
followed me on Instagram too. He's super nice dude.
Yeah, and he liked some of your shit. That was cool.
And he after the gig we played, we opened up for him. He followed in. He was like, "Man, your fucking Purple Rain solo." I was like, "Oh, thank you very much, sir."
Nice. I think Robben is the definition of playing with intention.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that part of the thing about thinking ahead, I think he is, but he's not. I don't know how to describe this.
It's both.
It's like he knows what he meant to say. It's almost like he's really having a true conversation in the moment. You know what I mean? Like he is thinking ahead. Like he wasn't ready to say the final statement, or he wasn't at the middle of his story for his solo, I think.
Right.
I think that's where it is, because I don't know how to phrase this in a better way other than
he wants the chapters of the novel to go in the right order.
Right.
Like you don't want to be on chapter 2 and accidentally jump to chapter 6 because you might miss 3 through 5. Right.
Right.
And also like he knows, and instead of knowing what to play, he knows what he doesn't want to play. He knows what he doesn't want to hear as much as he knows. So like he plays, he's like, I don't really want to hear myself do that. So let me go back and not do that.
Yeah.
That's really, especially someone at his level, to still feel like that is crazy. Like how long he's been playing guitar. He's been playing guitar way longer than we've all been alive.
Well, this is pure speculation here. I don't know if this is true at all, but I think he's actually probably more like that now than before.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he's so honed in now. In like I think he always was, but like I think like with his him talking, moving to Nashville, talking about, well, now he's somewhere else in Paris.
Paris.
But talking a lot more about songwriting and his own sound and kind of like being his own guy a little bit more on the instrument, which he always has been. But seeing those conversations has only led me to believe that he's even more refined than before, and he has like even more of a vision now. It seems like earlier in his life, like he just rose to the occasion of opportunities given to him, whereas now it's like very like the path is a lot more narrow. Like, this is what I want to do, this is who I am.